Now he's the Kentucky Derby champion. He is Lily T. 14 days ago, the preordained superstar Arazi passed Lily T at this moment in the Derby, apparently on his way to the expected victory. But Lily T didn't know of Arazi's reputation, and jockey Pat Day did know that races are won on the track, not in the newspapers. He stalked Arazi, and then he won the race, bringing tears to the eyes of 82-year-old owner Cal Partee. Today, Arazi is just a Triple Crown memory, but Pat Day, vindicated after 9 Derby losses, now tries for the Preakness with the only horse with a chance to win the Triple Crown. Just 41 miles from the place of his birth, Lily T comes home. Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport.
There he is, dunking the ball. Who else in here?
Fly ball right field. Jason and Darrell with a great catch.
The thrill of victory.
Here's the finish of the Preakness. Sunday Silence, an easy goer. Photo finish. Noses apart.
And the agony of defeat.
Look at him go. Oh, baby. What a terrible fall.
The human drama of athletic competition.
And touching first is Shaker, and he has broken his world record.
In our 31st year, this is ABC's Wide World of Sport. The weather vane at Pimlico was still. There was a fine mist in the air after overnight rains, but the feeling was there nonetheless that this is the day. This is Preakness Day, the biggest day in Maryland sports in any year. Preakness Day. The blanket's ready. The blanket of black-eyed Susans, the state flower that will grace the shoulders of today's winner. It's Preakness Day. This is the 117th running, and with today's field, it just might be the most exciting of all. From Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, it's the Preakness Stakes, the second jewel in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim McKay, and this is the day that Lily T, the colt named after the little space creature in the movie, does come home. Not to his home state of Pennsylvania, where he was foaled just 6 miles from the Maryland line, but to Pimlico, a short 41-mile interstate ride from the farm where his life began. Lily T, the sickly foal, now is the Kentucky Derby champion, of course, and today he goes for victory in the Preakness. But most surprisingly right now, he is not the favorite. Pine Bluff is the favorite at 4-1, and Lily T is just joint second choice with Casual Lies at 6-1. More on that in a minute. It's the stuff really that movies are made of, his story. I think Mickey Rooney would probably be the trainer, maybe Michael J. Fox as jockey. But as in the Derby, he has a large field to contend with today. There are 14 in all this time, the most that's allowed in the Preakness. 6 of his opponents today finished behind him at Louisville, and they and Lily T are the only ones still eligible for the $1 million bonus in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. So the ones still eligible are Lily T, Casual Lies, Dance Floor, Conte di Savoia, Pine Bluff, My Luck Runs North, and Technology. And here's how the leaders stand after the Derby in the point standings. Lily T with 10, Casual Lies with 5, Dance Floor with 3, and Conte di Savoia with 1. There is, in fact, a lot to talk about in this 14-horse field. So for much more information, let's immediately go upstairs to my ABC colleague, Al Michaels. Al?
Thank you, Jim. Well, you know, we say it year after year, the world of the 3-year-old colt is a wild and wacky one, but it keeps ringing truer and truer. Think back a month. Everybody's talking about Arazi, and a few people are talking about AP Indy and Bertrando. So here it is, Preakness Day. Arazi is back in the barns in France after a disappointing 8th place finish at the Kentucky Derby. AP Indy was hurt in Louisville the day before the Derby, had to scratch there and isn't ready to run today. And Bertrando has come down with a fever, and nobody seems to know when he will run again. Thus, out of relative obscurity came the steady Lil E.T. at odds of 16-1 to win the Kentucky Derby. But as Jim mentioned, this horse is still not getting very much respect. He is not favored here today. He is 6-1 as we come on the air. How unusual is that? Well, it's been 39 years since a Kentucky Derby winner came to the Preakness in Baltimore and was sent off at odds of 9-2 or more. So Pimlico today may as well be in Missouri. The crowd is saying, "Show me again." Let's take a look at some of the particulars for this race, the 117th running of the Preakness. The purse is nearly $750,000. The winner gets about make it $485,000. The distance is 1 mile and 3/16. That's a 1/16 of a mile, or about 110 yards shorter than the Kentucky Derby. The track is listed as good. It rained last night, but it's been playing closer to fast. The temperature is in the low 60s and it's overcast, and there's a light wind out of the east at 7 miles per hour. 14 horses going postward today, less than an hour till post time, with Agincourt starting from the inside. He's in from New York. He's 83-1. Technology, who finished a disappointing 10th at Louisville, is 8-1. Conte de Savoia, Leroy Jolly's horse, who was 4th in the Kentucky Derby, is 11-1. The favorite is Pine Bluff. Despite a disappointing 5th place finish in the Kentucky Derby, where he went off at 10-1, he's the 4-1 favorite at the moment. Big Sur, who didn't run in the Derby, is 35-1. Number 6 is an outsider, Careful Gesture, at 69-1. My Luck Runs North comes in from Kentucky. He's 31-1. Then Casual Eyes, who was 2nd in the Kentucky Derby, is 6-1. A little bit more money has been bet on Lil E.T. He would be the second choice right now at 6-1. Dash for Dottie is a local horse at 33-1. Then number 11, Fortune's Gone, the longest shot on the field, at 73-1 next to Agincourt. Alley Deed is 7-1, the lightly raced Canadian horse, getting some backing. Speakerphone has good speed. He'll start from the 13th hole at 18-1. And Dance Floor, Hammer's horse, draws the outside post and is 9-1. So there's a look at the odds, and right now we'll go to the porch outside the jockey's room and check in with Jack Whitaker. Jack?
Thank you, Al. You know, the Preakness has never had an identity problem. It's always loudly proclaimed its difference from the Kentucky Derby. The shorter distance, the sharper turns, the black-eyed Susans. And the race was always different, a smaller field that you could handicap with certainty. But that's not true today. It's deja vu time. We even have another Arazi here. A foreign horse whose name begins with A, lightly raced, coming off a recent operation with a tremendous burst of speed. Name is Alley Deed. The usual Derby suspects are here also. And I know we're in Baltimore, and I know this is Old Hilltop, and I know we had crab cakes for lunch, and we're going to sing Maryland, My Maryland, but this year's Preakness looks like this year's Derby. That won't be true, of course, at 5:45 tonight. Either L.E.T. will have gone on to take command of this year's 3-year-olds, or we'll have a new leader emerging, as Hansel did last year. As a matter of fact, 5 out of the last 6 Preakness winners have gone on to be voted the top 3-year-old of the year. In years like this, when there's not a dominant 3-year-old early on, it's the Preakness that identifies him and defines the year. And that's what separates the Preakness from the Kentucky Derby. Jim?
But as in Kentucky, tradition is everywhere. This is the weather vane atop the cupola here in the infield, still painted in the colors of Joe Albritton, whose colt Hansel won last year's Preakness. It's a Preakness tradition. And here at Pat Day's house in Kentucky this week, this was Pat's wife Sheila painting the jockey in front of their house in the silks of Cal Partee, owner of the Derby winner, Lil E.T. That's a new Pat Day tradition. As I mentioned earlier, Lil E.T. was born just 41 miles from here on Dr. Bill Solomon's Pin Oak Lane farm. It's primarily a farm for harness horses. In fact, a Hambletonian winner came from here, and now a Derby winner, which now joins Pin Oak with the famous Calumet Farm as the only farms ever to turn out winners of the 2 greatest classics in harness and thoroughbred racing. However, this year's Derby was more than the story of a horse. It was the story, too, of a jockey and a trainer. 9 times he pulled on his boots for the Derby. 9 times he lost. Then the dream came true.
When the gates open, everything happens so quickly, it's hard to believe that it's over in 2 minutes. The race up to the 8th hole, it seemed like that just took a heartbeat. From the 8th hole to the wire, it took an eternity. I'm looking, I'm riding, hurry up, wire. I said, here we come.
3 times he had finished second. Now at last, victory in the magic colors. On a horse the breeder didn't want and sold for a song. For Cal Partee, an owner who had raced and dreamed for 40 years and more. And for a trainer who realized the dreams of 3 generations and the Louisville fans who loved and believed in him.
I never mention a jockey's name when I'm calling the race. All of a sudden in the Derby, here comes Lily T on the outside, and I said, here comes Lily T with Pat Day. On the outside, here comes Lily T with Pat Day on the inside. To be honest with you, I didn't even realize I did it. I was just so happy for Pat winning the race, and I think that's the way most of the people around here feel about it.
I'm so thrilled with the feelings of the people towards me and towards my family. This wasn't just for me or for Mr. Partee or for Mr. Whiting. This was for all of us, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
What does the rider do the Sunday after he wins the Derby? If he's Pat Day, a religious man, he prays, then mows the lawn. While the roses lay drying on the pool table before being given as special gifts to friends. The congratulations came from everywhere, and for the first time, Pat truly realized what many people thought of him.
I knew that it was going to be an exciting moment, but, you know, it was so far above and beyond my wildest expectations that it just really took me by surprise.
On the morning after the Derby, at trainer Lynn Whiting's barn, it was quiet, as it has been for 3 generations of trainers in the Whiting family. This win was for every workaday trainer who's ever saddled a horse, who's ever dreamed of a Derby win.
You can have carte blanche at the summer sale, and if you're not lucky, if the horses aren't lucky, you're just not going to reach the Holy Grail.
This win was for Lynn Whiting's father and his grandfather, too, both of whom had Derby dreams but never achieved the Holy Grail. And the name of Lily T now joins the list of Derby winners. That's enough, but there's still the bigger dream, too, the Triple Crown.
It's not the first race that I've ever been in, and I know things happen, and you get outrun a lot of times, most of the time, I'll put it that way. But then I think we've got a real good chance.
Ride this roller coaster as far as it'll take us. If the impossible dream would seem to be if this horse could go on and win the Triple Crown. That's the immediate goal. It's obtainable. Let's see if we can make it happen.
Well, behind us, Pat Day has just won his second race of Preakness Day. The guy's on a roll, and there is Lil E.T. No longer the scrawny foal, as we said, big and strong now and a champion. And what of Lil E.T.'s breeder, Larry I. Littman, the man who sold him for $2,000? Is he frustrated or happy these days? Well, he's a New Jersey man who often boards his horses at Bonita Farm in Maryland, then has them drop the foals across the border, so they'll be Pennsylvania breds. He also uses his initials, L-I-L, as the first part of many of his horses' names, hence Lil E.T. Here's Larry Littman now with Dave Johnson.
Larry I. Littman, we know you own Little Foppy, Little Tyler, Little Saucy. How did Lil E.T. get his name?
Well, when he was a young foal, he was out in the paddock with all the other young foals and would always stay to the back with all of them, crying and whining for his mommy. And his mommy would be up in front like, where's that brat? And this Mary's car saying, Lil E.T. come home, Lil E.T. come home, and it stuck. And so we named him Lil E.T.
Larry, we always do things we kick ourselves for later. What were you thinking when Lil E.T. was on the road to the Triple Crown?
Well, it was a very happy time for me. I've never had a horse like that. I've got one graded horse out in California, but other than that, a small breeder from New Jersey just doesn't have the chance to have horses like that. So it was a ball for me.
Now, you're watching the Kentucky Derby. What's going through your mind as Lil E.T. makes that move?
Well, I'm very happy to be there as far as a breeder was concerned, never thinking that I would ever be the breeder of a Kentucky Derby winner. And when he came around that bend and we came down the stretch and we realized he was going to win, we were jumping through the ceiling just like all the other fans.
So you're going to keep all the horses you breed so you don't sell another Derby winner?
Oh, no. I'm in the breeding business, and hopefully I'll sell all my horses. Some I'll sell for a little money, some I'll sell for a lot of money. And hopefully that I can make a success out of it, but they'll be sold.
Best of luck, Larry.
Thank
Back to you, Jim.
There are lots of celebrities here today. Let's see who some of them think will win the big race.
Well, I'm looking at the #1 horse, Agincourt. First of all, it's the first horse I came to in the program, which makes it easy, and it starts with an A, and vowels are very important to me.
I think because my wife's here, I'm going to pick Casual Eyes for this year's winner in the Preakness.
Yeah. You tell your friends to bet the speakerphone, and the speaker O'Neill said so.
The rap star Hammer and his family own that horse, Dance Floor, whose connections were very upset when he drew the 14 post, the outside hole, for the Preakness. Here's what his trainer, Wayne Lucas, thinks about strategy now.
Well, there's not a lot we can. The thing that happens to you when you draw way outside in a big race like this, instead of being able to do what you'd like to do, you've got to adjust your pattern to what the other guy does. And by that I mean, you know, we would normally break in an inside post and probably get into the race and lay 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to have to break, look inside to try to determine what the other speed horses are doing and either take back or go on. And that's a tough decision. You got to make it in a couple of seconds, and there isn't a lot of time to call a committee meeting.
And Chris Antley won't have much time to think about it. Right now, dance floor is being held at 8-1. We're going to go back now to review the Kentucky Derby. And first things first, some of you may have read about a time change in the Derby. It was originally listed as 2:04 for the winner, Lil E.T. Many of you may not know that a race is not timed, as we will show you, from the starting gate. It is timed from an imaginary line which we will draw about 30 feet from the gate. Now, for a reason that is still unclear, apparently the clock did start as they exited the gate, and thus an extra second was added on. As they reached the first timing juncture a quarter mile into the race, the original clocking was 24 2/5, the corrected time 23 2/5. The rest of the fractions hold up, and thus instead of a ploddingly slow Derby in 2:04, it's simply a slow Derby, Lily T winning it in 2:03. Now a look back at the key junctures of the Kentucky Derby. On the walkover from the barn to the paddock, Arazi was the center of attention, just as he'd been in the days leading up to the Derby. As the starting gate opened, Lil E.T. broke smartly, but was quickly taken under a snug hold by Pat Day. Snappy Landing, Devil Is Due, Pine Bluff, and from the extreme outside, Dance Floor charged up to contest the early pace. Arazi started from post 17 and was allowed to settle into stride in the back of the pack while having plenty of dirt kicked in his face. Pat Valenzuela steered the colt closer to the inside as the field moved by the stands the first time. As they headed for the first turn, Snappy Landing led, with Dance Floor and Pine Bluff hung out wide. Casual Eyes was only a length and a half back. Lily T was 12th, and Arazi was 17th in the 18-horse field. On the backstretch, Casual Eyes had settled nicely as Dance Floor moved to the lead and Pine Bluff began advancing. At this point, Arazi still had only one horse behind him when he began a move that would eventually take him past 15 horses. Some observers would later contend that Valenzuela moved his horse too soon. However, it's clear at this point that Arazi was passing horses with relative ease, including number 7, Lil E.T. in the orange silks. Sensing the urgency at hand, Pat Day began to ask Lil E.T. in earnest, and instantly he was on the move. As the field began to exit the turn and approach the quarter pole, Dance Floor still led as Arazi and Casual Eyes closed in. On the rail, Pine Bluff was finished, and Lil E.T. loomed boldly as he was taken well outside. At the top of the stretch, Arazi was cracked with a right-handed whip twice, and it was quickly clear that he was through. Casual Eyes took the lead away from Dance Floor, but only momentarily as he was passed by Lil E.T., who responded to strong left-handed urging. At the finish, it was Lil E.T. winning by a length over Casual Eyes. Dance Floor was 3 lanes further back in third, followed by Conte de Savoia and Pine Bluff. Arazi wound up 8th and was followed by My Luck Runs North and Technology. With the exception of Arazi, all horses we've designated in this freeze frame run in Baltimore today. And a final post-mortem on Arazi. I talked to Patrick Valenzuela at Hollywood Park last week. He still thinks he's the best 3-year-old on the planet. Felt he needed at least one more race. As far as Arazi's future is concerned, right now they appear to be pointing him for a race in France on the 28th of June. Will he run in North America again? Conceivably, if he does well this summer, we could see him back here in the fall in the Breeders' Cup. A look there at Casual Eyes as he begins walking toward the track. Post time less than 40 minutes away, and our coverage continues after these messages as a word from our ABC stations.
We're back at Pimlico, and here is Casual Lies, the Cinderella horse. His real home is in the fairgrounds in Pleasanton, California. Wait till he sees this crowd here today. He's third choice in the betting now at 5-1. Lily T, the Derby winner, has moved up from joint third choice to second choice at 9-2 or 4.5-1. The favorite still, however, is Pine Bluff, only fifth in the Derby, but 4-1, and the choice here so far today. More action. He's at 3-1, excuse me, right now. Up to the jockey's porch at this moment, and Charles E. Canty.
Well, for Shelley Riley, the entire Triple Crown experience seemed like a dream. So while she was at Churchill Downs, she began writing a diary to make it all seem more real.
As I was coming into Churchill Downs the other night, I was struck by a really beautiful sight, the twin spires. The mist passing between the spotlights and the spires made them shiver just ever so slightly, giving them an ethereal quality. Afraid to blink, I sat mesmerized in case they would evaporate in the night.
The twin spires stayed put. What evaporated was Shelley Riley's dream of winning the Derby with her long shot, Casual Lies.
Down the stretch they come. Lily T on the outside with Pat Day takes command. Casual Lies is
At 29-1, Casual Lies had overcome the skeptics, and for a few glorious strides, he had the lead. A movie script come to life. Surely the thrill of a lifetime, or was it?
Since I caught the lightning in the bottle, that since it's so hard to catch, that we may never catch it again, and that was our one chance to win the Kentucky Derby, and it was there. And the longest eighth of a mile got between us and history. And I'm disappointed.
Even in defeat, there was vindication for her good judgment, the confidence in her horse, and mostly for years of hard work. You see, the owner and trainer of Casual Lies is also the groom and the hot walker. She calls him Stanley, and the fondness is mutual.
Who doesn't like to share with me?
The exercise rider is also Shelley's husband, Jim, a former jockey, who introduced her to horse racing. Combining what he feels with what she sees is the secret to their teamwork. A month ago, some of the press said she didn't belong. Now she's a media darling because she let Casual Lies do the talking. And he proved a good horse can come from anywhere.
There's talent in small barns all over the country. They're the backbone of the racing industry. We can do it just as well as the big guys. Can you win the Preakness?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
I think it would just be smashing to run big in the next two legs. Just go out with a bang. We may have finished second, but I feel like a winner. And Casual Lies will always be a winner to me. He has the heart and desire of a champion. There is no quit in him, and he just keeps coming at you. What more can anyone ask for? My heartfelt congratulations to the winner. I wish it had been us, but it wasn't our turn. Maybe at the next town. The stars are still shining bright, and the dream still lives on for me.
Well, Gary Stevens rides Casual Lies, and it was 13 years ago this very day that he rode his first winner at LeBois Park in his native Idaho. 2 weeks ago, Gary, you almost won the Kentucky Derby on Casual Lies. You looked like leaving the 16th pole. You had it won. How'd Lily T get by you?
Well, I had that feeling again. At the 16th pole, I thought the race was ours. This colt's got a ton of talent, and made the lead a little earlier than I would have liked to, or I had planned to before the race. Rosie made the big run on the outside of us. We ran by dance floor, and Rosie hit a brick wall turning into the stretch and left us out there in no man's land, and my colt got to playing around a little bit. And if I had my rathers, I would have rather waited a little longer, but it didn't come up that way. And little E.T., when he ran by us, he ran by with such great momentum that I just couldn't get my colt back into the race soon enough. So hopefully today we'll have a little more to run at inside of the 8th pole.
All right, and you've got a good post position today, post 8. You've got speed inside you and outside you. How close do you dare to be?
Well, there's plenty of speed in here, Charles. See, this colt's got good tactical speed. He's going to get a good position coming away from there. Main thing I want to do is just let him get on his feet, let him sort through things early on in the race, let him get comfortable, and just make sure I've got plenty of room coming into the stretch.
All right, good luck, Gary Stevens, looking for his first Preakness, and we'll go back to Jim McKay.
All right, Charles. Well, all horses running in the Preakness will be carrying 126 pounds. But obviously, all jockeys do not weigh exactly 126. Pat Day weighs, as you saw, much less. So lead weights are added to the burden the horse will carry until Pat and the weights tip the scale at precisely, as you will see, 126. That's the way it works.
half hour to post, and in order of betting preference now, here are the odds. As you look at Pine Bluff, he is the favorite. 7-2 or 3.5 to 1. Lily T is now 9-2. The second choice. Casual Eyes is held at 5 to 1. Ali Deed in from Canada with just 4 races under his belt, 5 to 1. Technology, good backing at 6 to 1. Dance Floor, 8 to 1. Conte de Savoia, 9 to 1. Then comes Speakerphone, the local horse at 18 to 1. Big Sur, trained by Lucas, at 30 to 1. As you look at Lily T, My Luck Runs North at 30. Dash for Dottie at 35. Careful Gesture is being held at 70 to 1. Well, a field of 14, as we say, going postward here. 7 of the horses we saw in the Kentucky Derby, including the top 5 finishers taking their turns here today, along with 7 newcomers. Here are 4 of them. If a newcomer is to win today, it's likely to be the lightly raced Ali Deed, who's won 3 of his 4 career starts. He's from Canada's Kinghaven Farms, which is run by the Wilmot family, owners of successive Canadian Triple Crown winners with approval in 1989 and is Vestia in 1990. The architect of Kinghaven's success is trainer Roger Atfield, a 52-year-old Englishman who saddled Ali Deed to this easy victory in the Derby trial at Churchill Downs 3 weeks ago. Careful Gesture is part of a full crop of 1, the only 3-year-old sired by the stallion Zaparancho. This Florida bred has earned more than $200,000 and has a name that reflects his owner's sense of humor.
His 5th dam back was a mare named Topless, and the 4th dam was a mare named Dare to be Bear, and the next dam back was a mare named In Moderation, and then his mother was Deliberate Care, and so he's Careful Gesture.
Dash for Dottie, owned by Henry and Dorothy Rosenberg of Baltimore, is a stretch runner who'll try to become the first gelding to win the Preakness since Holiday 78 years ago. This long shot is the only horse in today's race to have won 3 races at 1 1/8 and should like the added Preakness distance. Agincourt was highly regarded as a 2-year-old, winning the Grade 1 Futurity at Belmont, defeating that day, among others, Pine Bluff. After sending out last year's losing favorite Strike the Gold, New York-based trainer Nick Zito is back this year with a long shot whose appearance in the winner's circle today would be a true stunner. Joined now by Dave Johnson. Dave, here's a look at Speakerphone, who's won 2 races over this track recently. Currently 18 to 1, and he has a lot of speed.
His last sprint and a distance race last out. And the last horse to win the Preakness wire-to-wire way back in '82 with a Loma's Ruler.
Those are some of the newcomers. Let's talk about a couple of the old standbys of sorts. 2 horses from the Derby, and what happened to them there, in particular Technology and Pine Bluff.
Well, one with an excuse and one without one. Technology drew post 2 in the Derby, was in the gate a long time, actually tried to bust through the gate 3 or 4 times. Then when he finally got into the start, into the race, he didn't fire. But he's had his troubles this week. Physical problems. He cut his right front foot during a gallop on Thursday and spent most of the last 48 hours just trying to get back in shape. And here's Pine Bluff, who didn't have an excuse in the Kentucky Derby, but he could be the 1992 edition of Hansel. Hansel disappointed in the Derby and then came on and ran a bang-up race, in fact maybe the best 3-year-old race of last year, winning the Preakness.
Pine Bluff the favorite, and he has dropped from 7 to 2 to 3 to 1 with post time 24 minutes away. Now it's time for our regular feature on what's new in the world of sports science and technology.
Sports and Science Converge, brought to you by AT&T, sponsor of the '92 U.S. Olympic team. The fragility of racehorses has always made their physical problems difficult to deal with. But in recent years, equine medicine has made great strides. 2-year-old champion Arazi's arthroscopic procedure can attest to that. Currently, Cornell University's veterinary clinic is one of a handful of equine hospitals that use lasers in surgical procedures. A carbon dioxide laser is used for internal surgeries, and a YAG laser can be used in standing horses without anesthesia.
By doing it that way in the standing animal, you've eliminated the cost and the need and the risks attendant with general anesthesia on horses. It's cut down the surgery time. The horses are back into work quicker This carbon dioxide laser, on the other hand, has other advantages.
It makes a very precise cut and reduces bleeding and post-op pain. The horse truly benefits.
All right, Dave, let's examine some of the other horses in the race now. Here's My Luck Runs North. They put him in here despite a 9th place finish in the Derby. What are his chances?
Well, traffic problems in the Kentucky Derby, but a come-from-behind victory in the Lexington Stakes before that in the mud.
Here's another newcomer now to the Preakness, and we're talking about a Wayne Lucas trained horse, Big Sur, who's been inconsistent, but he did beat Pine Bluff and Lily T in the Southwest Stakes.
And trainer Lucas says this horse runs a real good one every once in a while. He's hoping it's today.
Lily T, of course, is the Kentucky Derby winner, currently the second choice. They're putting his shadow roll on right now. He, of course, is ridden by Pat Day, and Pat is with Charles C. Canty.
Well, Pat Day is finally coming back to earth after winning his first long sought-after Kentucky Derby 2 weeks ago, courtesy of Little E.T. But today it's a different ball game, different racetrack. What'll it take for you and Little E.T. to duplicate this?
Well, hopefully have as clean a trip and as good a trip as we had last time, and have the punching power that we did in the stretch, and a duplicate of what we done at the Kentucky Derby. And I know, you know, Lenny, Mr. Whiting has just done a fantastic job bringing this colt along. He trained superbly, came out of the Derby in great shape, and he's trained superbly up to this race. He looks good, he's acting good, and we're anxious, we're optimistic that we'll get a big effort out of him. And if I can get the clean trip that he needs, I believe we'll get the job done.
And it would be Preakness number 3 for Pat Day. Al?
All right, thank you, Charles. In addition to Big Sur, Wayne Lucas also trains dance floor. Now, we heard his remarks before. What do you think is going to happen to this horse at the outset, Dave, with all of the speed to his inside?
Well, Lucas talked about changing strategies, but as good as the race that dance floor ran out of post 17 in the Derby, it's hard to believe they wouldn't just gun him to the lead.
In from Canada comes the darling of the media this week, number 12, Ali D, very lightly raced. It's only his 5th career start.
And the bandwagon started rolling in the barn area, where true horsemen liked the way he looked and moved, and then the fans and the media jumped on.
And Craig Perrette will be riding Ali D. He took off Pine Bluff, will be ridden by Chris McCarron today, as we look now at Conte di Savoia, a very impressive second in the Bluegrass, and then 4th in the Kentucky Derby. And this race may set up very well for this horse.
0 for 6 this year, but on paper, Al, this race sets up for a horse who comes from off the pace. Leroy Jolly knows how to train horses. He won the Derby twice, but he's finished 2nd in the Preakness 3 times.
Number 11 is Fortune's Gone. I think the only thing I can think to say about this horse at 70-1 is if you bet your fortune on it, that's exactly what will happen to it.
Well, he's
What's
part
he doing
of
in here?
He's part of a 7-11 combination. Angel Medina trains both the 7 horse, My Luck Runs North, and the 11 horse, Fortune's Gone. 7 comes from the far back, and 11 goes to the front.
As a crapshooter, I think that's one 7-11 combo I bet don't pass on. Number 1 in from New York is the Nick Zito trained Agincourt, and he is 70-1.
And this horse was brilliant at 2, but he's yet to fulfill the promise this year when he's 3.
A look at the field. Post time is 18 minutes away, and there is the Oaktown Stable Group with Hammer right there. Chris Antley, the jockey, Wayne Lucas, the trainer. 9-1 the odds on the outside horse. Casual Eyes is right now being held at 5-1. Number 8, the Casual Eyes, who looked so good in Northern California, 3rd in the Santa Anita Derby. Good chance today for him.
Yes, but he's still not getting the respect that he deserves.
All right, my man, we haven't had a winner since, what, Seabiscuit? What do you like?
Who'd you pick in the Derby?
Pine Bluff.
All right, I'll take him in the Preakness. Who do you like?
I think I'm coming off Pine Bluff. Let's see, Lily T is 9-2. That's pretty good. That's at least $11 for the win. Good luck to us again. Hey, on the subject of horse racing, it's only appropriate to acknowledge a great man who recently retired as a jockey, and whether you call him Angel or Angel, he was one of a kind. Cordero.
I really want to miss riding, but I'm going to stick with racing. Riding is being my life.
2-time Preakness winner, including 1980 when he rode Codex to victory. Now a trainer. Good luck to Angel Cordero.
Back at Pimlico, and you see there just a corner on the top of your screen of the big crowd gathered in the infield. Total attendance here today estimated at somewhere between 80 and 90,000. Could even be a record, despite the fact that there was rain early this morning and threatening skies even now, and it's kind of cool. Chris McCarron is returning home to Maryland. This is where he started his career, and there's been an interesting jockey switch for this race. Chris originally was not scheduled to ride Pine Bluff. Craig Perret has been the rider recently for that horse. However, Craig, who has never won the Preakness, decided to jump off of Pine Bluff and onto Ali D, the speed horse from Canada, who's attracting so much support here today. So McCarron ends up on Pine Bluff. Well, he's won this race before, and as I said, he started his career here, set a world record for winners that was only broken a couple of years ago by Kent DeZormo, who then went on to California, is now riding with Chris and the rest of the big boys on the California circuit. Time for riders up. There's Agincourt with Art Madrid. Big race for Art Madrid, his first Preakness. He rides on the New York circuit. Number 4, Pine Bluff. There he goes. Well, it's time almost for Maryland, my Maryland. It's been some years now since the Baltimore Colts football team crept off in the middle of a snowing night to Indianapolis, but the band remains as we look at Lily T, second choice in the betting now, the Kentucky Derby winner. But the band plays on, the Baltimore Colts marching band, and Maryland, my Maryland, they're doing it for the 20th consecutive year. Maryland. And this is the moment, I'll tell you, it doesn't matter how many horses you own, how many millions of dollars you have, this is the moment when the muscles in an owner's stomach tighten. Number 13, Speakerphone, the local horse owned by Isidore Cohen. This would be the ambition of his life achieved, to win the Preakness in his home state. Ridden by Clarence J. Ladner III, known around here as JoJo. He is a local jockey here in Maryland. On the track, here is 14. This is Dance Floor with Chris Antley up. Antley couldn't win his second Derby in a row, but got another shot today. He's going to have to really gun him from the outside. There's Shelley Riley, the owner and trainer and groom of Casual Lives. Crowd in the infield behind, crowd in the grandstand on the left of your screen. You can see that kind of breathless hush has descended. It's been noisy all afternoon here for the earlier races. Let's take a look now at the horses as they enter the post-parade. Number 1, Agincourt. He won the Belmont Futurity last September, but has tailed off since then. Trader Nick Zito won a smashing victory on this track a week ago today with Strike the Gold. Number 2 we'll look at is Technology. His inside post position should be perfect for this speed merchant. He was second choice in the Derby, remember, but finished 10th after a bad trip. Jockey Jerry Bailey trying to win his second Preakness in a row. Number 3 will be Conte di Savoia. He should be flying down the stretch from the rear. The question is whether he can pass all the horses in front of him. He's been close, but hasn't won since breaking his maiden last December. He won for 11. Pine Bluff, number 4, remember, is the favored choice in the betting at the moment, despite his 5th place Derby finish. New rider, Chris McCarron, as we said, started his career here, set the record in Maryland. He really knows this racetrack. Wayne Lucas trains number 5, Big Sur, a talented but very unpredictable colt who baffled both the trainer and the owner, Bill Young. Mike Smith down from New York to ride. Careful Gesture, number 6, is the dream come true for Ray Dixon and his wife. He was the only foal, remember, produced by his little-known sire in the year of Careful Gesture's birth, but he won the Tampa Bay Derby. He's a come-from-behind runner. Like Careful Gesture, My Luck Runs North, number 7, is a long shot from the Florida circuit. Surprise winner of the Lexington Stakes at Keeneland, but 9th in the Derby. Edgar Prado, a local rider, gets his first Preakness mount. And now, Casual Lies, number 8, Cinderella's story of the year. Purchased for $7,500, third in the Santa Anita Derby, a most impressive second in the Kentucky Derby. With Gary Stevens up, he has a real chance to win here. Behold now Lil E.T., the current king, number 9, the foal who struggled for life 41 miles from here, returning as the handsome Kentucky Derby winner. Can he go on to a Triple Crown with Pat Day aboard at 4-1? It could happen today and at Belmont. Local oil man Henry Rosenberg entered Dash for Dottie, number 10, really as a tribute to his wife, for whom the horse is named, and his mother, who died at age 92 just last month. It's a sentimental journey. Looking for a read-along shot, we'll try number 11. Fortune's Gone. He finally arrived here the night before last after they couldn't find him for a couple of days, owned by a doctor from the island of Curacao. He's never won a stakes. The Canadian challenger, Ali D, number 12, fast as lightning. Still a bit wet behind the ears, mainly. Only raced 4 times, never been around 2 turns, but he has Craig Ferret. Speakerphone, number 13, is a serious local challenge, really. He has won stakes races here, going both long and short, full of speed, may lead the race if he can get there from his terrible post position. And rounding out the field, Dance Floor, Hammer's horse. Trader Wayne Lucas hates the post position, but still thinks, well, his colt has a chance. And there he is. There's Bill Rudolph, the outrider. And here is Charles, who has made her way down from the jockey's porch. Well, it's a different city, it's a different kind of day, it's a different racetrack, and really the Preakness and the Derby are different races.
Well, the big difference today, Jim, is speed. In the Derby, we just simply had no pace at all. Today, we've got 8 horses, 8 who want to be on or close to the pace, and they're kind of scattered throughout the starting gate, but the most important thing is the 4 horses on the outside, 11, 12, 13, and 14, they have big speed. But the 2 who'll have the most impact are the newcomers Ali Deed and Speakerphone. They're beautifully bred, great talent, but no seasoning. Speakerphone has one-dimensional speed, and he carried at a distance nicely last time out. He's a Maryland-based horse who loves Pimlico and seems to be coming to himself in time for this big step up. Now, Ali Deed ran the sharpest prep race of the season in the Derby trial. He's an exceptionally attractive horse. He's a quality horse who's flexible enough to sit just off a guaranteed hot pace, but he's never won around 2 turns. But an equal factor today is the solid reliability of those Derby veterans. Expect the usual workmanlike performances from Lily T, Casual Lies, Dance Floor, and a better race from Pine Bluff. Like the Derby, Jim, once again, we've got a choice between potential brilliance and proven consistency.
Well, as Al sort of indicated, I don't think any of us have picked a winner since the Truman administration. Why don't we try again?
Well, I'm going to opt for the potential brilliance. I'll give you a very speedy exacta of Ali Deed and Speakerphone.
Ooh, that's tough and very interesting. I'm afraid I'll have to go with Al. I like Lily T. I think he's a champion.
Consistency.
Okay, well, the blanket will be waiting soon. The blanket of Black-Eyed Susans. And some people don't like us to say this. They say you're breaking the illusion. But facts are facts. These are not Black-Eyed Susans. They bloom in July and August, and they are the state flower. So now, however, they have to take yellow daisies, and as you saw, to paint the middles of them black. Anybody will settle for that blanket, though.
4 minutes to post time. The Preakness at Pimlico coming up. Here are the odds now. Agincourt from the inside at 70-1. Technology holding at 6-1. Conte de Savoia at 10-1. Pine Bluff, 5th in the Derby, is the favorite. He is 7-2 with about $20,000 more bet on him than on Lil E.T. Careful Gesture at 60-1. My Luck Runs North at 30-1. Casual Lies right now is the 3rd choice at 5-1. Lil E.T. has dropped from 9-2 now to 4-1. Dash for Dottie is 40-1. Number 11 is a long shot, as Fortune's Gone is 70-1 at the moment. Ali D, the Canadian import, is 5-1. Speakerphone, local horse, 17-1. Dance Floor, who is 33-1 in Louisville, is 9-1 here today. Now, as far as comparisons from the Derby to today, Lil E.T. dropping from 16-1 at the Derby to 4-1. Casual Lies, by virtue of his 2nd place finish, from 29 to 5-1. Dance Floor, as we mentioned, from 33 to 9. Conte de Savoia, 21-1, finished 4th. and thus he has about twice as much backing today, relatively speaking. And technology, despite a poor performance at Churchill Downs, where he was 4-1, is still only 6-1 today. That car, a Chrysler Concorde, going to the winning jockey. If it's Pat Day, it would go to Lynn Whiting, the trainer. There are the points. The Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Lily T, of course, could win $5 million, sweeping the Triple Crown. Otherwise, the horse accumulating the most points, starting and finishing the 3 races, would win $1 million. Post time 2 minutes away, and let's go back to Jim McKay.
All right, Al, thank you. Still overcast, but the rain holds off. The track's still listed as good, which, of course, is not as good as fast. There is Cal Partee, the 82-year-old owner of Lily T, the Kentucky Derby champion. Lynn Whiting, the trainer, with his back to us. Remember for a long time, Cal Partee with the tears. There's Shelley Riley. Shelley, you know, for a lady who's come all the way from that little track in Pleasanton, California, the Triple Crown, you've looked remarkably relaxed all through this. How do you feel now?
Nervous. Very nervous.
A little knot in the stomach today, huh?
And a big knot on my back.
Well, that was from when you got bitten and bumped by Conte di Savoia the other day. What? Okay. You know, when you finished second in the Kentucky Derby, everybody congratulated you, but you said you were actually disappointed.
Oh, yeah. We really came to win, and we really thought we would. But the best horse won that day, and hopefully we'll be the best horse today.
Okay, well, that's the Cinderella story, and here is John Ed Anthony, a man who's put a lot of money into this sport, has tried many times. He's won 1 Triple Crown race, the Belmont, not the Preakness or the Derby. John Ed, your horse is the favorite suddenly today. Do you expect that?
Well, not really, Jim. I certainly expected the winner of the Kentucky Derby to be the favorite, but we're pleased to be where we are.
All right, good luck to you today, John Ed.
Thank you.
You put a lot into it. Time now to go up top. You hear the crowd building as we go to Dave Johnson for the call.
1 mile and 3/16. That's the distance of the Preakness. The American and track record set by Farm Away. Stakes record set by Tanks Prospect. The only horse wearing mudcalks is that horse, Agincourt. Art Madrid Jr. picked up the mount just a few days ago. And you know, the last horse to win from the #1 post was back in 1960. It was Ballier. The favorites have done very well in the Preakness. 60 out of 116, 51%. Also understand that Careful Gesture is wearing mudcalks. Here's Technology. We'll see how he behaves in the gate. Conte de Savoia. And here's Pine Bluff, and we have a camera inside this starting gate, looking there at Chris McCarron. Big Sir, whose daddy, Alydar, was second in the Preakness, so he'll try and make amends. Mike Smith trying to guide the big colt into the gate. Wayne Lucas trains both Big Sir and Dance Floor. 7-2 favorite is Pine Bluff. They've already spent 48 seconds in the gate, the early ones. This is a lot of time for the horses who are moving into the gate early. And number 5, Big Sir, is acting up. A bad gate horse. Looks like it's going to take 3 or 4 assistant starters to move him into line. And Mike Smith does a little urging on his own. Over a minute already. Here's Careful Gesture with Bobby Lester. My luck runs north with the leading rider here at the local track, Edgar Prado. Here's Casual Eyes. He just shows up and runs hard. The Derby winner, Lily T. Smile on Pat Day's face. The only gelding in the field is Dash for Dottie. Here's Fortune's Gone with the green blinkers. Let's take a look at Alley Deed with Craig Perret. Well behaved, lightly raced, well regarded. Almost 2 minutes for the horses who've been waiting. Technology seems to be okay. Speakerphone. And Dance Floor, the 14th load. All 3-year-olds, all carry 126 pounds. They're off, and the Derby winner, Lily T, broke cleanly and sharply, but on the inside, Big Sir shows the early foot. Out the middle of the racetrack, Speakerphone along with Allie Deed. Those three across the track early. Then behind them, Dance Floor with Fortune's Gone. Past the stands for the first time, and it's Speakerphone taking them into the clubhouse turn in front by 2. Big Sur on the inside second. Allie Deed on the outside moves up a bit, and Big Sur is back into third. Dance Floor is fourth at this point, 2.5 off the leaders. Then Casual Lies. Technology along the inside is sixth at this point. Fortune's Gone is seventh. Pine Bluff in good position, 8th. Lily T, the Derby winner, 9th at this point. Fuente de Savoia is 10th. Then Agincourt, Careful Gesture. On the outside, Dash for Dottie, and My Luck Runs North, 14th and last. The half in 46 and 1. And Speakerphone on the local track continues to show the way by 2. Allie Deed is in second position. Big Sur along the inside right there, third. Then between horses, Technology. Now Dance Floor with a quick move. And Pine Bluff is moving up on the outside. Now he's 5th. Casual Eyes back to 6th. The Derby winner, Lily T, is 7th. Around the far turn, Allie Deed takes the lead. Dance Floor on the outside. Pine Bluff is in gear. Speakerphone dropping back after early quick traction. Coming now to the quarter pole. Allie Deed leads it. On the outside, here comes Dance Floor to challenge. Middle of the racetrack, Pine Bluff is charging up to the leader. And down the stretch they come. At the rail, Allie Deed. Pine Bluff on the outside. Dance Floor next. Middle of the track, Lily T is closing. Casual Lies at the rail. 70 yards to go. Pine Bluff on the outside. Up to win it by 3/4 of a length. Allie Deed second. Casual Lies third. Dance Floor fourth. Will not have a Triple Crown winner this year, but Pine Bluff redeems himself, and Chris McCarron, who won the Preakness with Ali Sheba, gets home today in 1:55 and 3, a slow Preakness.
John Ed Anthony, congratulations. You've won the Preakness.
Thank you, Jim. Good race. Good horse ran a good race.
He sure had a good race. Tell Tom Bohannon our congratulations, too. And there is Pine Bluff, the horse that Craig Perrette took off. Jockeys do make mistakes, and they make them, it seems, rather frequently. Chris McCarron coming back to win the Preakness again. He won, of course, with Ali Sheba. We'll take a look at the fractions here in a moment. There you see 23 and a fifth, Charlesy, 46 and a fifth, 110 and 4, 136 and 155 and 3. So what'd you think of the race? There's Lily T. Couldn't make it this time. There will be no Triple Crown winner this year. Well, the bettors were the people who were smart today. They made Pine Bluff the favorite. And there is Cal Partee. 2 weeks ago, we saw him in tears of disbelief that his horse had won the Derby. Now it's just disappointment, as he has said himself and said on our show earlier today. He's been in a lot of races, and he's lost a lot more than he has won. That's the case with everybody. Another look now. And here is Shelley Riley, Casual Eyes. Disappointed again, eh?
Yes, I am.
What'd you think of the race?
Well, I had really a lot of trouble seeing it, so I don't really know what happened, but he was really coming on there at the end, so I think a mile and a half really ought to set us up pretty good.
We still have a shot for that Triple Crown bonus of $1 million. That wouldn't be bad to take back to Pleasanton.
No, I think that might cheer me up a lot.
Okay. All right, now we're going to have another look at the finish of the race as we see Pine Bluff there. Unofficially, Ali Deed second and Casual Lies third. He's really consistent.
Basically what it boiled down to, it was the proven consistency that wore down the potential brilliance in the stretch. Ali Deed from that outside post really showed that he was worth all that advanced publicity. This is a horse that is really serious quality. He gave it his all. It was his first time really to have an effective race around 2 turns where he really got something out of it, and he's just getting a little bit late here, and Pine Bluff just has his head down and keeps running his race right here and is able to get to Ali Deed in the final strides. And look at look at Craig Perrette look over and see Chris McCarron go by on his horse. That's got to be tough too.
Oh boy. Okay, Pine Bluff, the unofficial winner. However, they have what they call the quick official here. In other words, any objection would be made to the outrider, and there's no sign of a steward's inquiry, so we would expect it to be official, but it is not official yet. Hold all tickets. We'll be right back.
There is your winner of the 117th Preakness. He went off as the favorite, Pine Bluff, who went off at exactly 7-2, and there were the prices. The result now official: $9, $5.80, and $4.40. Allie Deed wound up second, and you saw the numbers on him: $7.60 and $3.80, and Casual Eyes paid $4.20. The 4 and 12 $2 exacta paid $66.80. There is Pat Day, and Pat Day had Lily T in position for another stretch run, and Pat joins us now from the area outside the jockey's room. Pat, you have a monitor there. We're going to pick this up a little bit past the 3/8 pole on the far turn. Did you think you had a good chance to win it here the way the horse was moving?
Well, he was fighting the racetrack just a little bit, Mr. Michaels. Coming away from the gate, he got some horse broke into his rear end pretty good, mashed him around, and then he just turned me loose going under the wire the first time. We got into contention going a half-mile pole, and I felt pretty good at that point. I was right in behind Casual Eyes, and he was moving nice, but he didn't have the punch that he did today. They kept running in front of him. We just wasn't able to run him down.
Could that have been, Pat, because of the fact this was his third race in 4 weeks, a pretty heavy schedule?
Well, I certainly don't want to, I don't know, to be honest with you. As I said, he was fighting the racetrack just a little bit. He punched when I asked him. They just kept running in front of him. I think if there was anything that really took away from us today, it was, he got jostled leaving the gate. He just spit the bit completely going under the wire the first time, and we was back a good ways further than we really wanted to be.
Take a look at your monitor. Here's the start, Pat.
See, we're pretty clean right here, but now you see there, his rear end about went, it's pretty severe what happened right there. And now right here we felt pretty good, but then as we got to the wire, he just turned me loose and dropped back further than what we really wanted. As we turn up the backside, I run up into contention, but probably used some of his fire and power at that point, and then when I eased him out to 3/8 pole and asked him, he just didn't have the big finish that he'd had before.
Okay, thank you, Pat. We'll probably see you at the Belmont, I would take it, in 3 weeks.
Look forward to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Pat Day aboard Lily T, of course, as is traditional here at the Pimlico Racecourse. The new colors being painted on the horse that adorns the cupola in the infield, the colors of Pine Bluff, the favorite, and that's the first time a favorite has won a Triple Crown race since Risen Star won the Belmont in 1988. Favorites had been 0-4-10. And Dave, let's go back and have a look now at the start.
And here is going to be the eventual winner with the yellow cap. It's going to be Pine Bluff. Let's watch his start. And they were winning out in the middle of the racetrack all day today. Chris McCarron, who picks up the mount, gathers the horse back after Big Sur showed early speed. And look at Agincourt and Technology on the inside. Jerry Bailey hustles his horse into a little hole there and then gets in some trouble. But here is the eventual winner, running strongly, cleanly, out from the rail and passing horses, gobbling up some ground on the way to the first turn. Chris McCarron edges the horse out, and it's very interesting. This is going to be reminiscent of the finish of the 1987 Preakness, with McCarron and Perrette finishing 1-2. McCarron rode Ali Sheba, Perrette bet twice. The long shot Fortune's gone there in the green blinkers, and Pine Bluff is going to get in gear here. He's 3 out from the rail, and now he's passing Casual Eyes. At this point, Technology kicks in gear. And did you see that? McCarron looked under his right shoulder to see if anybody was gaining on him. Here comes the Derby winner with Pat Day in the orange cap. At this point, the hard knock in Casual Eyes is still in contention. Big Sur is dropping out of it, and now Pine Bluff starts a relentless charge on the outside that ends in a blanket of Black-Eyed Susan. Speakerphone had set some fast early fractions, but Pine Bluff in the late going just goes right by. Again, a dramatic race by Dance Floor from post 14.
And clearly
Allie Deed at the rail, then Dance Floor, and here's the winner on the outside.
In the Dance Floor camp, they have to be, again, cursing their luck, throwing the outside post still. He put up a remarkable effort as Chris McCarron, who gets the mount on this horse after Perrette takes off to go back to ride Allie Deed, picks up the win.
And switches sticks 3 times through the stretch. gets the most out of this horse, Pine Bluff.
And Chris McCarron, a live shot of him behind Jim McKay. His reaction after watching the replay, John Ed Anthony winning the Preakness. Here was his reaction at the finish. Clearly, the bettors felt that this was a great horse outside of Churchill. He's not run well there. He's run very well everywhere else. Let's go to Charlesy.
Well, Lynn Whiting has been watching the replay here with Pat Day. Did you see anything different or add anything to what Pat feels about the race?
No, Charles. He did get jostled a bit leaving the gate. I thought he assumed a pretty good position down the backside going to 3/8 pole. I was well pleased where he was at. At that point in time, the horses just seemed to be getting away from him a little bit. Pat seemed to think he was fighting the track somewhat, and he just didn't have enough run in him the last quarter of a mile.
Only 2 out of the last 12 favorites have been able to win, so unfortunately for Little E.T. And right now we'll go back to Al.
Okay, Charlesy, so a field of 14 went postward, and here's the way they wound up. Pine Bluff wins it by 3 parts of a length. Allie Deed second, Casual Eyes was third. And we'll look forward to all of them continuing on to the Belmont, assuming they come out of this one in good shape. And a look at the complete order of finish, the 117th Preakness Stakes with Pine Bluff the winner by 3 parts of a length. As you see, Dance Floor wound up 4th. Lily T, who wins the Derby, finishes 5th here. It's going to be a good battle for that $1 million Chrysler Triple Crown bonus. There are the results. Back with the presentations after this.
The Travelers presents great Triple Crown finishes. Brought to you by the Travelers. You're better off under the umbrella. The Preakness Stakes can sometimes be decided by the ground a jockey and horse don't use. That's what happened in 1990 when Summer Squall and Pat Day got good tactical position along the rail while Unbridled was forced wide. At the top of the stretch, with Unbridled still rallying wide, Summer Squall found a narrow opening along the rail and slipped through. Sometimes it's the ground you don't travel. That's the difference in victory.
Back at Pimlico, time for the presentation now, and here is Joseph DeFrancis, the President and Chief Executive Officer of the oldest sporting organization in the United States, the Maryland Jockey Club. Joe?
Thank you, Jim.
Great day again.
Oh, it's a great day for Maryland, and it's with enormous pride that I have the privilege of introducing a man who's been great for Maryland for many years, our leader, the Honorable William Donald Schaefer.
Joe, before I present the trophy, I'd like to congratulate Chris. He's known to Baltimore horse people, and we congratulate you. And Jim, for the great things that you always do. But you know, the success of Pimlico is due to this man right here, Joe DeFrancis. He's done more for racing than I think anybody that I know in the history of our racing, and I want to thank him for another great day here at Pimlico.
Look at this, Governor. The Woodlawn Vase, the most valuable trophy in American sport.
Joe was saying that that was appraised about 10 years ago at about $1 million, and it's worth maybe $1.5 million now. So you're going to get really something great. And congratulations on this race. If I may make this presentation, this one is worth about $10 million.
John Ed, congratulations.
Thank you, Jim. It's a value. There is no value large enough to place on this trophy for me, because it's we've pursued it for so long. It's a great win for Lob Lolly, my partner Mary Lynn Dudley, and I think this colt will go on and make Pine Bluff, Arkansas proud, and we're mighty happy.
Arkansas wins in the Derby and the Preakness. Now, Tom Bohannon, the trainer. Tommy, this is, I'm sure you know, this day is the 3rd anniversary of your association with John Ed Anthony. Very appropriate to win the Preakness.
It's very much appropriate. It's a great day.
Okay, congratulations to you, Tom. Okay, we're going to have a talk with Chris McCarron. We're going to have the presentation of a car to Chris McCarron, and we will be right back at Pimlico. There's still more to come. A replay of the race with the winning jockey. Look at that.
Well, we had a great race here today because we had all those marvelous ingredients of real speed horses, tactical speed horses, and horses that come from behind. And Pine Bluff now will leave here as the pro tem leader, anyway, of this 3-year-old crop. He is following in the footsteps of Hansel last year and Snow Chief, horses who disappointed so gravely in the Kentucky Derby and then 2 years later looked like world beaters here at Pimlico. A brilliant race by Pine Bluff. He beat a brilliant horse in Alley Deed, and I hope we're going to see more of him. I'd pay admission to go watch Alidee race again. Whether he goes to Canada or stays here is problematic at this time. But right now, the horse that won here today, Pine Bluff, and a marvelous run down that stretch, is the leader. I hope he'll mix it up again with Lily T at the Belmont, and even Dance Floor, who did a marvelous job coming from that outside post position. A great day here, and this 3-year-old season may be a good one yet. Jim?
Thanks very much, John. I see Tom Bohannon. I forgot to ask you, are we on to the Belmont?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Another presentation now, and here is Bill Glove, the General Sales Manager of the Chrysler Corporation, and, of course, Chris McCarron. Bill?
Thank you, Jim. Chris, congratulations on a great race and your second Preakness victory. On behalf of the Chrysler Plymouth Division and 3,000 Chrysler Plymouth dealers across the country, it's our pleasure to present to you the keys to our newest car, the 1993 Chrysler Concorde, which will be available this fall. It's a car we're very excited about. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it. I accept this with great pride, and I just personally want to thank the Chrysler Corporation for becoming such a big part of horse racing. It's been a great boon to our sport, and we appreciate your participation.
Let's have another look at that stretch run. How about that, Chris? Here, we'll be coming up on the monitor just down below us here. Well, you're going to need a shower. You know that?
Yeah. Why do I smell?
Mud. No. Mud.
Yeah, it is cold. He placed himself very well throughout the race, and I felt like I had quite a bit of horse the whole way, and so I put him in the clear as early as I possibly could. Tom suggested that this morning, so I tried to abide by that, and he just persevered. He punched hard when I turned for home, and I gave one little quick glance at the head of the lane to see where Lily T was, but I didn't see him coming.
Never did.
From this point on, he went after and got that horse, and he was actually going away at the end a little bit.
You know, there's an irony here. As you pass Craig Perrette, I want to get the full story in just a moment after we give the points here in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. I got one more question for you, so stay here if you will, Chris. Here are the points after 2 races in the Chrysler Triple Crown Challenge. Pine Bluff and Lily T each with 10 points. Casual Lies with 8. He's still in it. Dance Floor 4. Conde de Savoia 1. How in the world that happened? Craig Perrette's been riding this horse. Suddenly he's on Alidee, and you're on Pine Bluff. Quickly, though, what happened?
Well, I happened to be at the barn last week at Pimlico, here in the stake barn, and I heard Wayne Lucas say that Mike Smith was committed to ride Big Sur. So I got on the phone right away to Tom and asked him if he was in need of a rider, and he wasn't even aware that he was in need of a rider. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. He told me, he said if Smith was committed to ride Big Sur, he'd love to have me ride this horse.
Isn't this the darndest sport you ever saw? Congratulations again, and to you, and to all of you, that's the story. On to the Belmont, 3 weeks from today. This is Jim McKay saying so long from Pimlico.
Now, except on the West Coast, stay tuned for your local news and World News Saturday over most of these ABC stations. ABC's Wide World of Sports presentation of the Preakness